Hey everybody, this is Marc Sims again. Just asking a few questions, just a few questions. I have Herb Lawrence on the phone. He is the executive producer of the Lawrence Holmes Show, which is a radio show, sports radio. The Score is 670 here in Chicago. And Herb Lawrence, what does an executive producer at the Score, which is your job, what do you actually do, man?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on. And secondly, an executive producer pretty much lines up the show, works with the host, one of them or two of them, to get what they want during the show. So the segments, we have 3 segments per hour, and the executive producer decides what's going to be said during those segments, like the main topic. And if there's a guest to be had in those segments, the executive producer books those guests. So calls their either agent, PR guy, or the person personally if they have their number, and sets them up for that time and gives them a heads up on what the conversation will be like, so the person who is being interviewed will not be caught off guard. So yeah, it's pretty much my job. And then executive producer usually works with another producer that he tells what type of audio that the producer needs, or the executive producer needs, or the host needs, and get ready to be played when he calls for it. So it's pretty much the captain of the ship, even though he does not go on the air that much. I just chime in every once in a while.
But Herb Lawrence, you grew up in the western suburbs of Chicago, right?
That is correct.
In the western suburbs, okay, you said Wheaton?
Wheaton is specifically where I grew up. That's a school that I pretty much went to from about 4th grade on to high school.
So you went to, there's a Wheaton High out there?
There's Wheaton Central when I was growing up, and then that splintered off to Wheaton Warrenville South, and my whole family went to the Wheaton Central, Wheaton Warrenville South. I decided to chart my own path and go to Wheaton North, so that's where I graduated from.
So you was at Wheaton North back in the day. You wanted to be an executive producer of a sports radio show, right?
I wanted to be on the air. I heard the Score when I was a kid. My Little League coach was having the Score 820 back then, was the dial, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. If I cannot make it as a professional athlete, I will be doing that. I would want to do that. And so I've had that in the back of my mind since I was 11, 10, and it's worked out so far. I've been here at the Score on and off for the last 19 years, I guess it would be.
Man, so you are a lifer in the business. So what do you tell the kiddies, because you've seen the industry change. We may talk about that. What do you tell folks who are back in Wheaton or anywhere else in high school and college who wants to go on radio in front of the scenes or behind the scenes? What advice do you give them?
I tell them to do what they want to do. Like if they want to do the job that I'm doing right now, they can do that job without being an actual producer. So the systems that we edit our audios from is from Adobe Audition. Adobe Audition, just, you can just get that. It costs, I don't know, like $100 some to download it into your computer and just edit audio. That's what we do every day. When I come into work, my job is to edit audio, put it into a package so people hear it, and that's the only medium that we have. If you want to be on the air, if you want to do play-by-play, do it. The more you do it, the better you'll become. And listen back to what you're doing, too. So that's what like the Jason Benettis, the Lynn Caspers, those guys did play-by-play just to themselves, like at a Little League game, or you're going to a Major League game. You find a quiet spot for yourself, record yourself doing the game, and listen back, critique it, find somebody who's maybe older or in the business to critique you, and then keep on doing it and getting better at it. So if you're a youngster right now listening to this, I would say just do the thing that you want to do and get good at doing that. And then eventually, if you want to get into this business, you just got to send your tapes out. Send them to everybody. Show up at businesses and show that you're eager to learn and eager to work.
Lawrence, I mean, I always get y'all mixed up because it's like, I'm dyslexic. Herb Lawrence, you know what I'm saying. Herb Lawrence, you didn't have to go to a small market to come to the big market. You were very lucky, though, man, weren't you?
Very much so. My story is, I always say it's good to be white, but it's better to be Herb, because there is no story like mine that You go from intern at Jerry Springer to working at the Score. Like, I didn't have to intern at the Score at all. I was a part-time producer right when I hit the door. So my story is not for everybody, and it's not a typical story of any producer here. Most of these guys either interned somewhere else or were interning here, and then they got this job. So, I was very lucky. I'm very lucky to have the career that I have, and I have not had to go to a smaller market. But if a person wants to do that path, that's very valuable. You can always get back here. You see Danny Parkins did that. He went to Syracuse, and then he went to smaller markets in Kansas City eventually, and then got back to Chicago where he wanted to be. So it's not impossible to work in a smaller market, and I think you do much more things. You get to do play-by-play, you get to do on-air stuff, and probably some sales and some producing, but you learn the business that way by doing all the things that encompasses a broadcast. So if you are inclined to move, if you have the ability to move with no family, no kids, I would strongly suggest you do that.
Now, when you were interning for Jerry Springer, that's when the Score was in the NBC tower, right?
Yes. No. Well, no. When I was interning for them, it was before that. It was when the Score was in the bunker on Belmont, so 49
where
West
XRT
Belmont.
was. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up with MAQ. MAQ back in the day used to be.
But we were eventually at the NBC tower 3 years after that. Though.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was. You're not wrong. Yeah, I started 2000, like September 2000. We're at the bunker. We moved to the NBC tower either 2002 or 2003. And then, the guys like Steve Wilkos, the guy who was the police officer, and then he got his own show. He used to come up to the Score and talk sports all the time with us.
Wow. Now I say that because young people have dreams, but you have to do the work. I had dreams of being a broadcaster, but I didn't want to do the work. People have to do work. So if you were scared to go on air or do your own tapes or do your own podcast, you're just dreaming, right?
Yeah, you need to get reps. You need to do the job before you get the job. So it's tough. It's tough to break out of your shell, get out of your own comfort zone, but you need to do it. If you want to do this job, you have to be comfortable with hearing your own voice, critiquing what you hear on your own voice. If you have the ums, the uhs, the things, I still do things that are nervous tics, but I battle through that and make sure that what I'm conveying is confidence. What I'm conveying is the ability to speak intelligibly about a subject. So you just got to continue to do it, and you're going to sound dumb. You're going to say things wrong. People are going to get on you for how you sound. Don't worry about that. Battle through all that stuff, and eventually you'll find your voice and get to where you need to go. If you want to go there, it's a hard grind. Radio makes little money, especially when you're producing. If you want to go for more of a stable job and behind the scenes, I would suggest you do TV. Learn the audio and visual part of that and become one of those people. You'll be fine. You'll have enough money to live off of. But radio, you're going to grind for a long time and make little money. So get ready for that.
It ain't like it used to be. And so you had some formal education. You went to Western. You went to the broadcast school. But is formal education necessary?
I don't think so. The only thing I say that the school I went to was called Illinois Broadcasting. So what is it? Illinois Center for Broadcasting. When I was going there in 2000, now it's called IMS, Illinois Media School. That place got me into Jerry Springer. It got me into the door with Jerry Springer. So I wouldn't have that opportunity without it. And most people and most places are only hiring kids who are in college. So that's the thing that you need. But there's no structure that IMS necessarily provided me with. Stuff that I knew, the equipment, now that's a thing that I did not have on my own, that I got the opportunity to be exposed to. So IMS for me in that regard was very valuable. I didn't have enough money to download or to pay for Adobe Audition or Cool Edit or any of those editing systems. That is what that school did for me. I wish it was different where people who are just hungry for the business, because to do the actual job that I do or the producers who are part-time here do, it's just want to. It's just, hey, this is the system that we work with. This is how you edit audio. This is how we want you to edit audio. Listen to us. do it. When it's wrong, we'll correct you, and then keep on doing it until you perfect what we want and the sound. Because this is our only way that we get to our audience is through the audio. I mean, I know we do the video stream, but that's not on us. This is what your lifeblood is on. So get to doing this and doing it perfect. Now, you're not going to be Chris Tannehill, but shoot for that. Try to be better than Chris Tannehill. He's one of the best audio guys in the city and probably the world. Shoot for those type of goals and become a excellent expert at the Adobe Edition and any other system that we work with in this building. But it doesn't need, you don't need proper schooling to do the job that I did. I learned nothing in college. I just tell this to everybody. I learned nothing in college that I currently use right now. Especially at Western, I was just pretty much a drunk, and I failed out of Western in 6 months, and I left Carroll College like within 3 months because I was homesick. I did well at College of DuPage because it was at home. I had a girlfriend who was pushing me at the time to do well. And then when I got to Western, I was like, I'm going to be drinking all the time. And that's what I did. I got wild, and they kicked me out within 6 months. Yeah. Then I got to IMS or IBC at the time, and I was like, okay, let's buckle down. I was 21. I was like, let's get things done. Let's finally find our way to the score, or if we can. And then, it's a 10-month program, and I did well. And they got me into the door that I needed to get into, and then the rest was up to me. And I learned the tricks of the trade pretty quickly. And that's one thing that I think I have that you don't have to teach me too many times before I get it. Teach me once or twice, and I'll knock out the thing that you need me to do.
Herb Lawrence, executive producer of the Lawrence Holmes radio show at the Score 670 Sports Radio on your AM dial and on the internet. Herb, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for having me on.